do remember them.
You remember that?
I was too poor for those, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got them from my cousin. My cousin had money. His mom married into money, which is my aunt. And so then they had all the good toys. You go over there and have, like...
Is it YouTube missing? Oh, YouTube went. Oh, cool.
Okay, cool. So, like...
We're live, guys.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
By the way, not to interrupt him. Well, actually, to interrupt him. I'm doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
We're joined by Drew today. Hello. Say hi to the audience.
How's it going, everybody?
We're joined by... He was Superman in the title there.
Yeah.
But his actual name is Drew. Good buddy of mine. We're doing sort of an episode today. We're just talking about local Great Falls stuff, you know? Because I'm sure everywhere has this, but Great Falls is pretty crazy, man. Great Falls, 2020 has been a weird year for Great Falls. I know the world, obviously, but it seems like the world's kind of... Great Falls is falling apart. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but...
It's definitely changed a lot in the last... Like, I've lived here since 2008 and just lived downtown for the last 11 years. And it's just how it's changed over the last 11. It's just been crazy.
I lived downtown, I don't know, last house, that was 2 years ago, right, babe? And, man, it was... I remember we had, like, the people that lived below us. The SWAT team showed up once and, like, surrounded the block. I can't give names. I don't give names. It's inappropriate. But
yeah, because it is a small town.
This little small girl, you know, and, like, they swatted her. Like, it was crazy. And then when they pulled her out, they were, like, these two burly cops were holding her. And she was, like, was 100 pounds maybe, you know, 5'4", and she's, like, was handcuffed, and she was, like, in the air.
Yeah,
you know,
as they're picking her up.
They're walking her. Yeah, it was hilarious. I'm like, wow, all that for this little girl here.
She's a bad bitch. Don't mess with her.
Don't take a chance, right? If she's black, I got shot. No, I'm just kidding. The police here don't shoot black people. No. So that's the good. That's part of the good
natives,
news.
But
and you know, like we have like downtown, like people, like a lot of vagrants, right? A lot of drug use.
The groups have just gotten bigger. That's just what's been happening. There's always been like homeless and vagrants, and you know, especially in the summertime, they call them the tree people. When it's nice, they come out from the trees. When it gets cold, they go back to the trees. They don't know where they go exactly, so they say they go to the trees. Like they're like a mythical creatures. And they'll
Where
sing.
Do they go when it's cold? That's a good question.
I don't know. I don't know. They're on someone's couch somewhere, like in a commune, and they're all like smelling bad together. Can I say that?
You can't. No,
Will
like
canceled.
Like So I want to put the bleeding heart in me. I do have like some reservation about making fun of people in general, and especially people that are down on their luck, because we're all like one paycheck away from, like, most of us are just being homeless, right? Outright being homeless.
Thank God the government helped me get unemployment. I mean, say what you want about it, they shut my job down. I haven't taken any government assistance for the last...
Why?
Why haven't I?
Why haven't you?
Oh, because I just haven't needed it. I've been doing well enough. I just haven't needed
it. They're the reason for your hard times, right? Like they literally said you cannot work. It wasn't like...
Well, on this one, that's why I didn't care that I took it. I gave negative everything. Like, if you can take unemployment, I said, screw that, dude. And I got unemployment for... My old job, screwing over my hours, had nothing to do with COVID. It's just now it said my current job I couldn't work during the daytime. So I said, okay, that's why I still can collect it now. But I'm still debating on whether I want to be a server anymore. It's just that I'm good at it.
That's like a frontline job right now, though.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally dealing with Karens every day, you know, like people who don't even believe in the virus.
Oh my God, or the ones that really do. Okay, so a lady came in yesterday. It was like my first table. Immediately comes in, you know, our tables are back to back at my current restaurant, and she says, "Oh, you're not seating 6 feet apart?" And I said, "Well, according to state statute, we can, you know, if you're back to back, we sit right next to each other." Okay, hand them in. Are you wiping down the menus? And like that was just that from the beginning. From
that point on,
I was like, if you're more comfortable, I can sit you out on the patio. You know, UV radiation kills it almost instantly. So
we have a radiation suit you can get into.
Yeah.
Hazmat unit over there.
Oh my God! So what I was gonna do, I looked on Wish, and they had this over the head like ventilator thing, and it comes down to like another box. So it's like for painting. So what I was gonna do is I'm gonna get that and go to work and be like, okay, guys, here, I know this looks a lot, but I'm a single father and I have an immune deficiency. I'm immune compromised. Yeah. This is the only way I could afford to survive is by wearing this suit. I bet my tips just have gone through the roof.
Yeah, right. I can't afford. This is thousands of dollars, and my insurance didn't cover it.
Oh my
so
God.
I'm just working, and
just make up a non-profit's name that gave me that.
Heads for COVID is the organization.
Breaths for Dad or something like that.
Yeah. So question, right? So you're a server, right?
Yeah.
You're a male server.
Okay.
Do females get more tips, or do males get more tips, or is it pretty even? Is that a real thing?
It's not really fair for me to give that because I've been a server for 6 years, 7 years. I've been in food service since I was 14, on and off, in retail when I wasn't.
You're also a charismatic guy.
Yeah, and I'm outgoing. I'm
I'm
working at a steakhouse, so it's super easy for me to act like a good old boy. I look like Superman. I look like a good Mormon kid, so I can do whatever I want at 3 a.m. And cops just look at me and said, well, that kid needs to get home. He has church in the morning. Like,
just wear a suit, you know?
Yeah, wear a suit.
No one messes with you when we wear a suit. People think you're like some special, you know, I promise you that. I get like a lot of good looks in good ways, like when I wear a suit. And I'm a trash person, by the way. Like, I'm a bottom of the barrel kind of guy. I drink a Natty Light, Natter Days. You ever had those? Nasty.
I had to make him have a good margarita.
Disgusting. Yeah, so we went a little kind of classy here with the margarita. But you know, I don't know, man. Like, so for those who aren't familiar, right? Well, we already said you were a server, right? Work at a steakhouse.
Yeah, so like it's not easy for me to like give that assessment because I know what I have to do to be a good server. I know my menu. I'm like I said, I'm charismatic. So for me, the job's just easy. I mean, there's moments like 5-10 minutes every shift that I want to murder everybody in the restaurant or just never come back from a break. But that's every job. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah, that's
every job, right? That's pretty much, well, that's most jobs, right? That's working as an adult.
Yeah, I used to sell toy helicopters in the mall for years. I don't know if anybody ever seen me do that back when.
I remember, you were like, you would demo them. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so what that job entitled was me sitting in the parking lot, smoking a couple bowls of weed, coming inside, and flying toy helicopters. And if some dad looked at him long enough, I had like a spiel I'd give him. And once I knew they got a certain point, I got him on a hook for a $60 helicopter. But I can get you 2 for $100. You want to get the big one in there or drop it off on this? But now I have this guy for a $500 sale, and his wife's just in Victoria's Secret dropping all this stuff. And then they come back.
Got him!
Yeah, sake! Okay, but before I would start that job, I'd be sitting in the parking lot, just smoking a bowl, thinking, man, can I smoke one more? I fucking don't want to go into this job anymore. I don't want to talk to these same 15 teenagers, which, if you're watching any of this, you're all like 25, 26 now. I still remember feeding you.
He knows who you are.
I do know who you are. You got your own mall
memories been burned in your memory.
Yeah. So. Remember? You remember that time that you didn't have any food and your dad dropped you off and I gave you the rest of my Subway sandwich? I do.
Remember that when he's 60 in a home, right?
Yeah. Or if I'm ever the homeless guy, you remember to give me $1 at least.
Yeah, throw me some of your change. I know there's a change shortage now, so I can't even do that, right?
Yeah, it wasn't even a change shortage. It was getting the change to the people shortage.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they didn't have anyone to drive it. That's how everything is. Like a lot of that stuff, like...
Wait, what do you mean they didn't have anyone to drive it? Like, they could have gotten someone to drive it, right?
Yeah, but I mean...
Was it a failure of them? Was that what...
It's our whole system was fucking breaking down. Artificially.
We're lucky to be in Great Falls. Like I say this a lot of podcasts, but I really believe that because like Great Falls, our COVID numbers are low, right? Like our police brutality is low, like Cass County in general, and there's reasons for this, right? But like people here are more friendly, right? Like if you get stuck in a snowdrift, some random guy will pull you out of the snowdrift for free.
It comes back to the Wild West thing where everyone had a 6-shooter on them.
Like, is that what it is?
Yeah, you're way less likely to be rude to someone when you know they have a gun on them.
When they're packing
heat. You're like, well, let me get the door for you. Oh, I'll get it for you. And then, like, it just starts the conversation off better. You know what I mean?
If you're from a big city, come visit. Don't stay here, please. I don't want you to stay here. But
yeah, especially if you're from
California or even honestly, even Texas or New York, like, stay away. Like,
you like your state better.
Yeah, your state is better, right? Yeah, right.
It's way cold here. There's
bears and elk and stuff. Yeah. But, like, no, like, like, the guns. They say that 40% of households in the United States have guns. That's sounds really low, doesn't it? Like, and then none of that, 40% of households. It's less than that per person, though. No. It's like it's the 45% of households and like less than that per person. Or what is it? 65? Maybe my stats wrong. The moral story is far less people have guns than you think. It's the guns are focused in like the hands of a small amount of people, and they like hoard guns basically. Like the person who's you're more likely to own multiple guns if you have one gun.
That's a fact. That's a fact because it's just like getting a toy. Yeah. You get one camera, now you got to get a better camera. You got one mic, now I can get a second mic one for each guy. Like and now I got this one. I got the old mics I have sitting in there. But,
a long mic, yeah. This is the concealable mic, and then I have the silence mic accessories now.
This
right?
is my shower mic.
This is my multiple my birdshot mic, right? Like,
yeah, right.
I know I'm already on a watch list. Probably you probably are too.
Because my memes alone,
social media presence, right? Yeah,
I kind of dropped off on that for a minute.
Tell us about that. Tell us a little story about that. What happened popping with your? By the way, this was my meme dealer.
Yeah,
like he was one of my meme dealers. Like
meme lord, thank you. I killed a man for my meme, right, to get that status. And no joke on that one. Like that guy. Okay, I'm messaging this girl. We're on her Facebook page, and I'm like saying she just broken up with this guy. I wasn't trying to bang her or anything. I just wanted to hang out with her because she was kind of like a friend. I knew she was having a hard time. And so I said, hey, let's hang out. I'll smoke a bowl with you. And then her ex, who she just broken up with, is like, if you do that, you guys will be sorry. And so I posted, from Tombstone, and it's Val Kilmer.
Yes.
Daisy, if you do.
Yeah.
Well, that's like his last internet presence online, right? After that, he went and like turned himself into the psych ward, then got out, and then like hung himself, like legitimately. So legitimately killed himself. So I like got a meme ward status for that. Like, and his suicide had nothing to do with my meme, but I'm going to take the win. I'm going to take it on that.
see it?
Because, obviously he was battling mental illness, and he was going through a breakup, and all that other stuff, so that wasn't good. Alternatively, the last thing he had was me telling him it's a daisy if you do, and then he did I cyberbully?
Maybe that pushed over that. Well,
No,
you can't, well, maybe sometimes you can't blame yourself. If you know that you were inappropriate, there's different. But, with mental health, it's a strange thing, right?
Yeah, and I had sent him a message right after that. I was like, hey, so-and-so, like, it's all by his real name, because he had a fake name he used on there. And it's, hey, man, are you doing okay? Like, what's going on? Like, I know I'm memeing on you, and like this, I'm not trying to blah, blah, but at that point, people are sad, but that's how you get, someone literally has to die for you to become a meme lord.
That your official title, right?
Yeah, everything else, you're just like a meme dealer, or like a meme connoisseur, like meme trader.
Let's talk about we're gonna social media in general. We'll just talk about the internet in general, right? Because
it's bad.
We've been watching videos. There's a site. I'm not gonna say the site. I don't want anyone to go there, even though I kind of do want you to go there. It's like a gore site, right? And it shows the dark side of the world because thank you, man. Because there really is a dark side of the world. People think shit is sweet, and it's not. There's beheadings. There's people committing suicide. And so one of the videos on there, the first thing you see is this guy commit suicide on Facebook Live, right?
Oh man.
And part of me because I understand mental health is a hard thing, and this guy shotguns his face, boom.
I sat there on 7 hours watching 9/11 jumpers one time. You can find that one time. You can find that online, and there's hours and hours of people jumping off those towers.
I saw a meme of it. There's jokes, obviously. It's been almost 20 years now.
Well, that South Park says 22 years, and you make a joke about it, so we still got
3 more years ago, 2 more years ago,
2 and a quarter,
2 years ago. It's
exactly.
Is that because someone's dying in that meme, right? That guy, a horrific death too. That's a terrible.
Yeah, and he lost his battle with something, and that's the reality of it. Alternatively, you're next video.
Yeah, there are some. It's crazy because we had a different reaction. To me, the suicide one was really messed me up. Maybe it's because I'm a veteran. A lot of most of my friends in the army that have passed away did not do so to combat. It was suicide or auto accidents or drug use.
Yeah, or alcoholism.
Alcoholism, right? Yeah, it was. I think I had 1 or 2 people that I was familiar with very closely with that died of combat. Right, very very few people died of combat. The vast majority of people who did die when I was in the military was not combat related, and so that one got me. But then the other one, we watched some of the ISIS videos.
Oh my god.
The executions, right? Those to me are whatever. I'm
it's sawing a guy's head off.
Yeah, it literally was the one. That was the one. It was he was chopping his dude's head off with a knife, right? And that is what scarred my wife, right? She was that's what
people do that. I'm yeah.
To me, dude, I was what? What next? Okay,
yeah.
You shoot that person, you kill that person. That's a
yeah, and that's an extra thing too. You always imagine a beheading, and then you have this mental image of the king getting beheaded or something like that, and it's totally way brutal.
Yeah, literally bones and
yeah, right.
And then you gotta crack the meat, and it's not a savory
it's processing
process.
An animal.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm just not about that. I don't know how you can do that. That's just got to be tough. You'd have to really hate someone for that.
You gotta be a hateful person, really, on camera too. I don't want to tie this into religion, but man, if your religion tells you to cut someone's head off, rethink your decisions. Maybe that religion's not the right way to go. I don't know, man.
I mean, yeah.
If you're doing it in the name of a god, I promise you, any sane god is not going to tell you to behead someone else.
In reality, though, it's these guys. It's a cycle, right? Because now these guys went to a wedding with their uncle and dad, and that wedding just got drone striked, killing his dad and whatever. You had nothing to do with it. You're just at a wedding trying to party, and like someone else there was the terrorist, not even your family.
Your school bus, right?
Yeah. So what? Or your kid gets blown up. What the hell are you going to do?
You're literally going to go find the nearest American and shoot them or blow them up.
You're going to go talk to like-minded people. You're going to think about it. And then someone's going to say, hey, guess what? I have a bunch of bombs and guns and stuff. You got nothing to lose. They just heard that you're... Not only that, it's someone in your community, right? So that is... Well, let's put it in America. That's John that you've gone to school with. Comes and hits you up. I heard that your kid just died. I heard what just happened. Come talk to me.
Come
to
over
my
here.
house. Yeah, and now you have an organization set up. So it's really easy for that to happen. If you think that can't happen in America for different reasons, you are 100% wrong. Because if 2020 hasn't taught you anything, the world is crazy. Anything you thought was impossible is literally happening. It's literally happening.
Our existence is very fragile, right?
Yeah, as a society.
It is very fragile, right? Like Rome fell, right? They never thought that was going to happen. The Ottoman Empire fell, the Mongolians, you name an empire, China, the Han Dynasty, whatever. All these empires, they all fell, right? Mm-hmm. It's our turn, right? Like we're that empire now, right? Like,
yeah, the only thing with us is that our GDP is so high compared to like our nearest rival, which would be China. Like the average GDP in China is like $16. It's like so super low.
The average. I think the overall GDP is like 10 trillion billion, whatever it is, and we're at 19, I believe, right? Something like that.
Yeah, but it's like
so
per
we're like
household.
Twice as much, right?
Yeah.
Now China's catching up. It used to be like America and everyone else. The European Union combined was the same as America, right? That used to be the case. Mm-hmm. They're a little slightly above us. But like when you broke it down by nation to nation, it was like 4, 3, 3, 3, and we were like 17. You know? We were just way. But now China, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's fake. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, some inflated numbers.
I'm guessing it's probably a little bit inflated, but they're at like 10 trillion billion or whatever the actual number is. But
if you don't have any care about the environment,
human rights,
environment.
Freedoms,
intellectual
property rights across the world. Theft. Yeah. I'm doing a podcast on China. I don't want to get too much into China here, but because I do want to stay kind of local in this one. But speaking of local, by the way, we got some viewers here. Hello, Kimberly. Nice to see you again. We got my old babysitter. Your name on Facebook is not. Your name is not Naya, right? It's Tanea. There we go. I'm like, it's not Naya. Your name is Tanea. Hello, Tanea. And then hello, Cody. I see you. And hello, Shayla as well.
Nice.
I can't wave you. I can't reach. I would wave to you guys because there's a little button I can push. But shout out to my listeners. Appreciate that. But let's bring us a little back more local, right?
Sorry.
And so that's my fault. I talk too much and I do the rabbit hole. Which is fine. That's the natural flow of things. But what are you doing over there?
She's pushing buttons.
She's pushing buttons.
Not asking questions.
My phone's gonna die here anyway soon, so I'm gonna lose contact with all my viewers if that happens. So the stream will continue, but man. Like I said, we're lucky to be in Great Falls because the police leave you alone pretty much. I don't see people get pulled over much anymore here.
They're trying not to deal with anything right now. They don't even want to send you to jail because of COVID. Because that jail is just full.
Our jail is fucking full though.
Yeah,
we do have an issue with the jail. Like our jail sucks too. It gets low ratings. I never heard anything good about the jail.
Yeah, I mean, and like the hard right people that are going to listen and be like, "Well, you're not supposed to.
You're a criminal. You need to have.
You shouldn't have 4
basic human rights violations. You deserve this. Right? You deserve maggots in your food. Like what?
Yeah, well, if you put people in a cage like an animal, what the fuck do you expect them to be when they come out? And they're talking to each other. I said this years ago. I said 5 years is going to be scary because I knew a lot of people that are going to prison for about 5 years. And guess what? They're all going to prison together. So that means they're all going to talk to each other.
Buddies.
And then come back out. Remember how I just had the whole conversation? How John is the guy that you knew after your kid died? It's the same thing, but hey, let's add drugs in the mix. Did you guys ever watch Flow?
If you go to jail as you sell weed, right?
Yeah.
Like you're unpaid tickets, right? Mm-hmm. You're going there with people who committed murder, who've raped people, who've kidnapped, who do Amber Alerts, like people who do nasty things.
And organize all that.
Yeah, and like you're talking with them, you're in the cell with them. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, is that what you want? Do you believe in rehabilitation as a people? Because if you do, maybe don't put people who are non-violent offenders with violent offenders, right?
Well, it comes down to a whole justice system reform, and we have to reform our laws. Like the cops got a really shitty deal on this, like Black Lives Matter and defund the police thing, because it's really not the cops' fault in that they're having to have all these interactions. We can blame Reagan, we can blame Clinton, we can blame Bush, and we can blame Bush again.
Down the line, right?
Yeah, and it never stopped.
Even Obama, you can blame, because they're all there, and he had 8 years, right? You know,
Yeah.
You think the president that we thought would do change 8 years, like 8 years change?
Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
That's the last time I voted for a major party was Obama.
Obama's going to be my first and last non-third party vote. So
Yeah, same here. Well, the last time, and then I learned a lesson out of that one because I'm young. I'm in college. Obama's talking, and I felt moved. Like, I believed what this guy was saying. And then found out it was bullshit. And so, now afterwards, anytime that someone talks and I feel like I'm moved, I'm like, that's a fucking lie.
you're weary of it, right?
I'm like, this guy's a liar. You're a snake in the grass.
But, like, honestly, can you, like, let's talk about Obama a little bit. Can you blame Obama? Because, like, there's so much more of a system that he had to work within. Like, his Supreme Court, the constitutional duty of the president is to pick Supreme Court justices. Yeah. He does this, and it doesn't even get to a debate.
Yeah.
Martin, what's the guy's name?
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy's name. I want to say Martin Garrix, but that's an EDM producer. Anyway, but
a little different.
one of his judges, he picked a judge, and the Senate wouldn't even hear the Constitution, so it never got picked. So, like, I do want to blame Obama for a lot of stuff, but I just feel like the whole system.
Well, he had some things he
Mitch
could have
McConnell,
changed by executive order that would have switched, like FDA stuff and how they enforce a lot of things, which the president did have, like, legal ability to do, which is like its own thing. But he just didn't do it. Like, why didn't we reschedule marijuana? Like, why are there so many people from 2008 on that went to prison for marijuana? And I'm not talking... I mean, especially the people that were, during his administration, running legal pot shops in their state and then get raided. Like, I had friends that got raided.
All their assets taken, right?
Dude,
and then they're done.
Oh my god, it was so ugly because I was friends with them, and I'm on their Snapchat, and I get a Snapchat video on their feed of what the feds did to their place, and like the before and after, and you're looking at so many plants that were so beautiful.
It's not centered.
Oh, we're losing it.
I'm gonna fix the camera real quick, guys. It's bugging me.
No,
okay.
I'm a little off.
Maybe my camera is showing me.
No,
it's probably my camera. Who cares? I don't know.
Right,
the feed like shows it like not centered. But anyway, one thing that I do appreciate though was that he did reduce the enforcement of that stuff. Right? He was like, look, federal government will not enforce
he started
as much, right? But he still put kids in cages, right? He still deported non-violent tax-paying people. He still separated families, still bombed people in the Middle East. Like,
yeah, he killed a whole lot of people. And he's the most pro-gun president in the history of America. He was even giving them to Mexicans.
Yeah, he literally is so pro-gun that he gave them to illegal people, to criminals, like
to
cartels, and they use them. To me,
killed American agents.
I don't know why people don't hold that more against him. Like people say, "Oh, he drone strike." Like, well, everyone does that. It's fine.
Or Benghazi. Type
but he gave
stuff,
Benghazi. Like, give me a break on that. Focus on when he gave guns to the cartels, and they used those guns to kill Americans, or Americans, or I don't know, it was one or two.
Yeah, it was like kill some federal agents.
That to me, that's legit criticism of Obama. Like,
yeah.
No one
like
holds
I
that
thought,
against him,
yeah, and it was all in a play to be anti-gun, like to catch him with the guns that they gave him. Like,
we got you. Like, no, we actually got you. Like,
or like
thanks, buddy.
Or like how they enforce terrorism laws here. Like they'll take a kid, go in a chat room, and say, hey, do you want to be a terrorist? Oh, this is how you be a terrorist. You should do it like this. Okay, then when they come to meet up with them to grab a bomb, then
you were a terrorist.
Yeah, you're a terrorist. I'm like,
you gave me the recipe. Like, what the hell? Like, yeah, it's preposterous. Like, it's so crony, Like, but
it's entrapment. You know what started that was the sex trafficking traps. Because once it's okay for you to like do the entrapment like that in drug enforcement, it all goes back to that. And then now they can make a law like terrorism because you're going to kill people. But
it's a slippery slope, right? And we see it, right? Like no one has a problem giving the government authority to stop bad people, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not something anyone would say is like bad thing, except for your most staunch anarchists, right?
Yeah.
But like, what happens when you say, all right, it's okay that person might be a pedophile, so let's draw it out of them. Right. Yeah. Okay, that person might be a terrorist
or a drug dealer.
Yeah, drug dealer. Yeah, like
come here, I got some crack.
What point do you the CIA would bring crack to the
Did you ever watch that stuff with that guy who they were giving it to, and like he would get phone calls? They're about to raid the place. He'd get phone calls from unmarked numbers on his cell phone, and he said leave out the back door. He'd go out the back door and he'd get raided. And he was the one that they were feeding
planting it and stuff.
Well, they were giving him the crack cocaine that they were getting from Colombia when they're fighting. Was that FARC or whatever? The rebels down there in South America, and so they were offloading that coke for the CIA through
in the poor neighborhoods, right?
Yeah, and then Bush Senior comes on the news and says, "Crack is rack. This is our thing." Well, you're giving it to him.
Yeah, literally weird, strange, right?
And it's all proven, by the way. You can Google
yeah. For those who don't know,
like
I don't have all
Pegasus.
The details though, but there's documentaries on it. There's like legitimate .gov.org.edu sites that will tell you that they've been doing this, right? Like so.
Yeah.
Look it up. I don't have the time here, but
no.
In fact, you can pull up a site actually for me if you can.
I think it's Operation like Pegasus. I think
pull up a site where the CIA was giving
CIA
crack in the inner cities. Yeah, like, but she'll pull that up right here for us in a bit. But that it's crazy too because like we're in Great Falls, right? Mm-hmm. And like again, we've dodged a lot of this. We don't have crazy drug addict. We do have some drugs, but
oh my god, yes.
But like we don't have like ghettos, like
and we're not
hoods
seeing
gang violence and
large gang on gang violence. I did have a mob attack me the other day, but that was kind of fun. Technically, the mob attacked my roommate, and I chased him off with a baseball bat, but that's fine.
That's why you always gotta own a gun, guys. Like I don't get into fights anymore. So we'll go to MMA real fast, right? Like like that's kind of how we kind of met, right? My brother's a fighter. He does jits. Like that's just kind of a scene we were in at one point.
Yeah,
and
many years ago.
And it was fun. It was live, And at one point in my life, 97% of people in the world I could beat up. Right, like I was not worried about anyone. I got in a fight once and I won that fight easily, like street fight, no question about it. No one could mess with me. My brother, my whole crew, we were invincible. Now I'm 30, and it's
back
like
hurts and stuff.
Yeah, my I don't run as fast. My foot cricks. And I got autoimmune disorder, and I got surgery and asthma. Like, you try to fight me, I'm going to shoot you. That's where I'm at in my life,
I'm at least going to point the gun at you a little.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you I have a gun, and if you approach me, I'm just going to shoot you. Like, I'm not about that pointing a gun at people.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like the sword thing. Back then, you don't pull your sword out unless you're going to use it.
I'm literally going to use it. Right? Like,
Take another step. Yeah.
If my gun is pointing at you, like it's a bad thing. That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And so I bought my first firearm a couple years ago. I only have one. I'm not a gun nut.
You should have as many.
I love guns.
You should have a tank that comes out of a bunker.
Yeah, like a little turret.
That's
every
how
house.
pro gun I am. Yeah.
You know what's funny about libertarians, right? I'm getting off topic here, but like that's what people love. Oh, they're gonna buy a tank. You can't. First of all, you can't afford a tank. No one's buying a tank, right?
No one's buying a
tank. Can you just like express like people's freedoms first? Like let's get that in there. You're polling at 3%. Let's stop talking about tanks, right? Like, let's get some like actual substance to our argument. Like,
I think I can have a flamethrower. I think that's perfectly fine.
Like,
or an RPG. I can afford both of those.
those are kind of budget friendly. Well, RPG depending on the cost of the ammo.
Dude,
right?
I was talking to a guy who was a demolition expert, and he told me he can make me interpersonal mines for $5, and he wants to take out trucks for $10. And he said, "This is what you can buy stuff over the counter."
You're definitely on a watch list now.
Yeah, I was like, "Well, that's a fun fact," and no one guessed it.
Okay, guys. We have the Wikipedia page pulled up here. So you're gonna switch the feed. There literally is CIA involvement in Contra cocaine trafficking. Like, look at that. You know what I mean? Scroll down a little bit. What is there? Is there any like?
Dude, he called him out. The guy that was working, not the CIA, he was
FBI probed on it.
He was doing something, and they had a live talking. Like they're at a city hall meeting in L.A. County, slowly. And he comes up in front of it, and it's on closed captioning for everyone outside. And he starts putting out the paperwork that calls him out, saying this has happened on this date, and called out and it was like the CIA and FBI director was right there, was at the city hall, and like called him out. Like this was in like 94, 95. So like this isn't a new problem.
Yeah, this is not like crazy new. Like it's not crazy old. Sorry, like that's 20, not even 25 years, right?
Yeah,
like,
but that's more than enough time for us to like.
We're born past that. Like we were alive when this happened. Like, so that's crazy, man. Like, and that's another reason. Like, this is getting kind of off topic again, but like this racist stuff. Like people say, "Oh, everyone has the same opportunity now in 2020." Not true, man. Like after I was born, the government made attempts to keep poor people who happen to be minorities. Maybe it was because they're minorities, maybe it wasn't, but they definitely were minorities that were affected by this into the ghettos with drugs. Like I don't know how you tell me like we all have equal rights today.
Well, if you're born in a ghetto, like in what they found out in the 60s with the civil rights movement is that it was the black males in the community that had these good factory jobs and these manufacturing jobs were in the inner cities. So they're the ones that are financing it, the whole civil rights movement. So the first thing that they did through legislation and through zoning laws is move those companies and shit out of the lower income places. Now there's no. That's how they became lower income. They moved them out. They made
the
it
opposite of gentrification, right? Like ghettoification. I don't know if there's a word for it, but
right. They did that on purpose. And look at Detroit. I mean, granted, there's a lot of stuff that the automobile industry did wrong. They kind of rested on their laurels, and that kind of fucked them over in the long run. And they just didn't do it right.
Well, Ford was one of the only companies, auto companies, to not be bailed out, right? Ford and Tesla are the only two.
Yeah, because they had their shit together.
They're the only two. Well, it's because they're allowed to exploit.
Oh yeah, there again.
The economy, right? Like, we'll ignore that argument. We're going to go with that. But like I said, we've been lucky in Great Falls because these aren't really issues we have, right? If you're in Great Falls, like our ghetto is like Parkdale, I guess.
Parkdale,
hardly even a ghetto though. It's not even a ghetto. It's just a low income place. Like
I'm downtown.
Downtown.
That's about the worst you're going to get. And there's a couple places when you get towards 10th a little bit where it's just, and then you have like
Sun Prairie, maybe.
I love Sun Prairie because it's so like. It's like a libertarian paradise. Because you come by there, and like one is like this beautiful, like retired Air Force guy, and he put all his retirement into this property. And next door is a fence that's made out of like random pieces of stuff.
Of like car parts.
Yeah,
and shit,
dude.
And it's rusty.
But no one steals from that rich guy. Because the ghetto guy right there is watching out for him.
And he has like 40 guns, right? In his basement, right?
Dude. No one knows.
Pipe bombs, probably.
There probably is a tank
probably
in there.
Probably a child down there, you know.
We're not going to ask too many questions.
Chained.
Epstein,
right? Yeah.
Special ordered off Wayfair.
I remember like in growing up in Sun Prairie, like I remember like the good old days, the 90s, you know. I could literally I would like, my parents weren't like very laissez-faire, so I would just like bike to the end of Sun Prairie, you know. I lived on the Washington, the good side, quote unquote, by the noons, and I would just bike all the way to the other end alone when I wanted to, come back at 11 o'clock at night.
You know,
how am I not trafficked right now? Like,
I think because trafficking has increased. But it also, like, has always been a thing, right? Like, it's always kind of happened. But now you're going to hear about the cases in Great Falls. You're going to hear about the cases in New Mexico. You can hear about the cases here. You're going to hear about shit in fucking India. You know what I mean? So it's like...
It seems like it's more...
Yeah, you're just overloaded with the same info.
The sensory of it.
It's because we're a hive organism now with the internet.
Yeah, the internet's a big thing, man. Like, it really is.
Yeah. Well,
speaking of internet, Great Falls, we don't have great internet here, honestly.
It's
in the city's not bad. Have you ever been out like in the outskirts of the city? Like you know where Big Bend area is? It's not bad, but it's like the farther out you go, the worse.
The further out there in Broadwater, I call my outlaws is my ex-in-laws, so they're my outlaws now.
Outlaws, right?
Yeah, they're my outlaws. They like that title, and they live way out there in Bootlegger. Man, they have like satellite stuff, but like their internet sucks so bad, like they can't even... You can play internet gaming, you can't Skype on there. Like, it's just Wild West again.
Like, you would think, like, in America, of all countries, we would have, like, fast internet. Like, we are, like, Hollywood of the world, right? Like, we're rich, we're, like, you know...
our poor are rich.
Like, our poor are rich, yeah. Like, it's better to be a poor person in our country than, like, rich in some places. Like, so, like... But, like, our internet sucks. Like, internet, you think, is, like, the lifeblood of the world now. Yeah, it is like the most important thing, human invention ever, right? Like,
it's like the summer of 96, 97, the execs from the cable companies all met together. They call it the Summer of Love. They all cut up the country so there would be no competition.
No competition.
Yeah, so that's why you can only get Charter in here, or Spectrum now. Like, you get Spectrum or CenturyLink. Do you want good internet or spotty internet?
Right. There are some, like there's a KDS is one company.
Yeah.
They, like, provide wireless internet to, like, places out in the outskirts, right?
Yeah.
And, like, that's fine and all, but, like, it's just like if you go to like Korea, like the lowest line is like 100 megabytes. They're like, what?
Yeah, because you have 15, 20 competitors in that same market, and so that's how the free market works. You can't have like market advantages to certain players and then wonder why the market's broken.
But if you didn't have that, right? How would essentially or those companies would just crush? They would dominate. Charter, whoever, you know, Bresnan, these big, they would just like roll. They would nothing stopping them, right?
I mean,
they could literally just like buy, but but there's limits. They can't go certain places. Like they're like, all right.
Yeah, but they cut it up. But they cut up the country between each other. Time Warner, Spectrum, like all these guys cut the country up, and they kind of kept the same like basically territories. It's goddamn Hunger Games for the internet out here.
Hunger Games, right?
Yeah, we get our champions. Whoever gets her has the highest download speeds.
It is just so crazy to me that in the most civilized country. I don't want to call it civilized is a bad word. In the most
wealthy, the greatest country on the planet, I tell you
country
what.
ever made, I guess. Like I'm a huge fucking zealot. I love America. Like I'm an American guy.
That's why it pissed me off that Make America Great Again. I said, when did it stop being great?
Yeah, like America, like literally is great. Like we have dark sides, right? We have dark sides, you know. Like But like, it's crazy. Like internet. Now I'm good. I'm lucky. Like, obviously, I have a good internet connection, as you can see here. But I don't know, man.
You pay too much for it, comparatively speaking, for what you're getting.
There are like places that do wireless internet that go like a gig or more, and it's like $25. There's a Facebook page I subscribe to called Wisp Talk, and it's like wireless internet service provider owners across the world, and they're like in Bangladesh, like with better internet than the United States.
And that's silly. It's just like silly.
And I'm like, what? Like Bangladesh? Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like,
but also those guys, like, okay, people get mad about you call a call center and you're talking to a guy with a funny accent. That guy has a bachelor's degree.
Yeah, and he speaks like 3 languages. Like,
by the way,
you speak 1, so like, calm your shit.
Seriously. I speak horrible Hindu.
That's one of my biggest complaints too. Is like people get so butthurt about someone speaking. It's like, look, dude, like this guy. Aren't you for the American dream? Like, aren't you for people working their butts off? Yeah. To get what they need, and this is what they're doing. They're working a job they don't even speak the best language of, trying their best to get by. Yeah. Like, why are you mad at that?
Making like
what you should be mad about?
Wages.
Yeah, you should be. Yeah, they're making nothing. You should be mad because the company you're hiring hired them in the first place.
Yeah, so they can cut costs.
Yeah,
it's like when NEW down, and then we'll go back how this cycles back to Great Falls. When NEW had the top contracts to like Target and all them because they had the top highest scores and an American base, English speaking, primary English speaking. Like that was like one of the prerequisites, right? So as soon as NEW took over from Shootin, or Shootin took over for NEW, I can't remember which way it was. They cut all those contracts to the local offices and shipped them to the Philippines. And so it was a thing. That was
the end of it, right?
They bought up the corporation.
That was the beginning of the end, right?
Yep. And so that's why that building is like think about how much revenue that lost our local economy.
Oh yeah, that was a big deal.
Right? Yeah, they had to pay something out the ass to get out of that too. By the way, like that's another thing. Like where I keep telling people, there's a magic dollar amount to get away with anything, and that's how they got away without having a big old fine.
Well, that's why drug dealers, or people who smoke weed go to jail for 5 years. Mm-hmm. But people who crashed the economy in 2009.
Yeah.
Or 2009, right? 2009 was
when 2009.
Yeah, that's when they literally crashed the economy, causing trillions of dollars worth of damage and mass death, probably suicide, depression, just like not hunger, like whatever. It's a fractal death. Yeah. They don't go to jail at all, right? They get paid out by their companies and they retire, right? So that's why there is a dollar amount to get away with. That's why
they sell that company out. They gut the company, sell it, and then go reinvest in something new with the other assets they took from it. So then that corporation took the hit, and so these guys never take it because it's just like when you work for, like if you have your own business, it's better to like make yourself an employee of the business, right? So now it's an LLC. So now that LLC can just go under, and you can just go become the CEO of a new LLC that's totally not related to this. But they ain't the same
corporations, assets. Man. I like corporations. They have a purpose. I understand what they're for.
Yeah.
They were, originally designed like way back in the day, like 1800s. Mm-hmm. So like do things the government didn't do well, right? Help with that. But like nowadays, they're just like liability limiters. Is all they are. Like it just literally that's what LLC stands for.
Nice.
Limited Liability Corporation. What LLC stands for. Yeah. And so it just literally means like, you can't sue me. You sue my company, and I get off scot-free, right? Like, that's what it means. Like, so. Yeah. We're getting more ice for the margaritas, guys. Gotta shake it up here.
Yeah.
But
I'm using a secret recipe from a former corporate restaurant I worked at for a long time.
Let's go
for great margaritas. I'm not gonna say that.
Let's go to the shot here. Hello, Natalie. Let me scroll down. If I'm on the picture, I do apologize. Okay. Philip. Hello, Philip. Haven't seen you in a while. Hello, Sienna. Hello, Natalie. Hello, Rory. Hello, Brandy. Hello, Bridget. Hello, Zane. And hello, Brad. Brandy, you live in Sun Prairie. I know you had the house fire here recently, I do believe, right? You still live in Sun Prairie? Is that still a thing? I don't know if you're still listening or not, but I think I drove by your house the other day, actually. So, but I grew up in Sun Prairie, and like Sun Prairie is like, to me, like, sort of our ghettoist place, kind of. I don't really know if it is or not, but like if that's a tall statement,
It's wild. That's what I'm saying. Like that's like so. Yes, I'd say it's probably the closest we have to a ghetto.
That's how privileged we are to be in Montana. Like and now Montana has issues. There are bad spots. There, some of the reservations are pretty bad. Yeah,
I grew up next to Fort Peck.
Highline. Yeah, some places are pretty bad.
So when I was going to Poplar and Fraser and all that stuff, back when I went, there was all. And when you went through Fraser, there was a bunch of gangster-looking dudes on every porch when you went by, and it was kind of scary. It was legitimately scary.
Sketch, right?
Yeah, I went back there not too long ago, and like I went through town, and there's like 2 old ladies, and some kids who ain't got no parents, and a bunch of dogs. They sent
dogs, yeah.
Yeah, they sent everybody else to prison. I mean, they're all in prison. Like, and if they're not in prison, they're old people now.
Well, drugs really messed up the reservations family.
Well, yeah, and they're all feds, so they're getting kicked out to like
federal prison.
Yeah, they're going to big boy prison. I mean, I know this last run, my buddies have gone through prison here lately.
What's up, Daryl? Good to have you, Daryl.
They said this last run, they've been doing time for 20, 30 years, and they said this last time they've never seen more people get their throat slit or their face slashed up since this last time. It's getting crazy in there. The world is nuts, and these people are getting freed. You understand? You sit them in there, they're slashing each other's faces and stuff, and then getting out. What do you think's going to happen?
We do not believe in rehabilitation, right? That's one thing that the United States does really poorly.
Yeah.
Like, we punish, we over-criminalize, first of all, right?
Yeah.
So everything is a crime in America.
Stop being an American. Stop being alive.
Yeah, and then after we over-criminalize, the police, because we over-criminalize, they're left with no choice but to, like, confront you, and that leads to high brutality. It's not the fault of the cop every time. It's the fault of the system that makes the police confront you for so much little bullshit, right?
Every time a cop talks to a person, it's a chance for escalation.
Yes.
And then Reagan had the great idea that you should, if you don't stop people for little crimes, they're going to start doing big crimes.
Which is bullshit, by the way.
Yeah, well,
totally a lie. Like,
well, Bush Jr.
Bush Sr. And then all of a sudden, I'm just going to blow up a building. Like, that doesn't happen. Like,
yeah, so that policy basically got put on steroids. Clinton got elected on putting 150,000 new cops on the street, right? And they did that. And they put another 50,000 more. And now we have 200,000 cops on the street. Which, I mean, I can understand, like, okay, your inner city has a bunch of, like, hard crime. These guys are just shooting each other. It's basically a war zone, and there's no sense of authority. Without any sense of authority in a power vacuum, gangs and warlords are going to take over. That's just what happens every time you do it.
Yep, that's the way it is.
Yeah, and so maybe having some authority would be fine, but maybe you shouldn't be stopping every, minority person for walking across the street and then patting them down and making sure they had drugs on them or not.
So it's crazy too. Like, that was a Democratic candidate that did that.
Yeah,
Bloomberg, right? Like, he was in running for president for the Democratic Party.
Fuck that guy.
How does the Democratic Party, the one that pretends to be about this stuff, like, how do you have that guy? And he's hardly remorseful about it.
No,
he doesn't really care that he did it. Like,
no, Bloomberg's like in this. Him and Como are like in these like cognitive dissonance. Like they don't really understand what's going on in the world. And they're speaking from a different point of view than the people that are living their life.
Do you know why I don't want him, or especially Bloomberg or Cuomo as president? Because first of all, he's a billionaire. That's already like, you're detached from life. I don't want to have
the only billionaire I want is Elon Musk to be my overlord on Mars.
Yeah, he won't be president. He'll be the supreme overlord. Like,
yeah,
he won't be
with your Neuralink. He's
all of us, and then robots and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Oh, I'm excited for that.
I'm getting Neuralink. I'm getting it.
Yeah, me too.
And then he'll tap into the
we're talking
Skylink, right? It'll internet through your eyes. Like, it'll be cool, right?
Yeah, we won't be able.
Your flying Tesla car. Like,
well, and here's the whole thing.
In holes.
If you have that Neuralink in and you get in your Tesla car, your collar is going to sync up to all the sensors. Now that car it's not a car anymore. It's an extension of your body. Yeah, because now you're reading the sensors. But you can literally just like plug into the car, and it's using your brain as a processing power for the Neuralink. So now, you and I are going to have a hard time with it, but our kids that grow up.
Oh, they're easy, yeah. Like Fortnite. Go play against your kid in Fortnite. He'll whoop your ass. No. Your kid will shred you.
Imagine a 3-year-old that's like Neo. Right, he can all of a sudden learn how to do martial arts. He can drive.
He's just sitting there. Like, you don't have to go to school anymore, right? It's just boom. It's pumped into your brain.
You have
the
same knowledge as everybody. It's scary, but it's the future.
If I were to be transplanted into 1820, I'd be a fucking doctor. I'd be a jiu-jitsu master. I'd be the most lethal jiu-jitsu guy ever. And I suck. I'm a white belt, almost blue belt. Like, I would be nothing.
I'm the master of 30 white belts.
I'm nothing. But I would be like a black belt, red and black belt in 1820.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
In America, dude, right? You'd have some guy trying to do old-timey boxing, just punching you in the body the whole time. You just double leg him and arm.
Yeah, literally. Like, I'd be the most bad guy on the planet. I would be one of the smartest guys. Now, there are intelligent people, for sure, but, like, I would be a doctor. I would be a physicist. I'd be everything. Like, the information that I know as a normal person is just vastly superior to what a person in 1860 would have.
And we just had the benefit of the cumulative
because of
knowledge.
this, right?
Yep.
And like you said, the neural link is in our head, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't a phone already an extension of us?
Yeah, that's what you're saying. It's a super slow. It's a shitty interface.
It's bad.
Yeah.
What limits us? This is what Elon Musk said. What actually limits us is our ability to output and input.
Yeah.
It's not, our brain is magical. It's just that, like, if I'm going to have a conversation with you, I have to say a certain amount of words, and it takes time to say the words, and I have to save them with my tongue. And
I have to process what you
have
said
to
and
hear
then
it,
reply.
and then and it's just this whole process. So if I could just like
Instantly.
beep over to you a whole 1,000 words, your brain can do that. Your brain will handle that.
Yeah, can you imagine voting in that? It'd be over instantly. It'd just be over instantly.
Who do you want to be the president? All right, there's president. Like,
Yeah, dude, it just happened
you're good,
now.
right?
One debate. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, we're done. I would refer that, by the way.
What's up, Thailand? My other podcast, my podcast cohort there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're not as far off as you think from that, right? From AI. Do you think AI will affect the Great Falls? Look, our traffic lights suck. We can't even get that synced up. You ever drive like through downtown, and it's like it goes green, and it's like
red in the middle of that nowhere.
And then the other one's green, you're red. You're like, what the hell is going on? And then it's like green, and it's like yellow. You're just like this.
Is someone on a video game like fucking with me
Yeah,
right
literally.
now?
Like, did an ambulance come through and wreck it, or
do we did they block it off so like the truck can get through with the loot? You know what I mean?
like Grand Theft Auto or whatever.
Mission, yeah. I've been here.
So that's what scares me about AI is like when I get off work at like 2 a.m, right?
Yeah.
So I'm driving on 2 a.m. on Central.
Yeah, probably.
No, first one of the one ways.
The one ways.
One of the one ways going. One of them. I can't. I think it's first. The one that goes by
the Loaf and Jug.
Yes.
Okay.
Between Loaf Jug and Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so I'm on that street and it's 2 a.m. The light turns yellow as I'm pulling up to it, and it turns red. So I'm sitting there, and I can see 2 blocks both ways. Mm-hmm. And I'm good, and I'm just waiting. I legally cannot go because the machine is like, you can't go.
Yeah.
It's not safe.
And the government tells you this magical light, you can't
This
go.
light is magical. Like
Yes.
I'm safe now, right?
Sometimes when my girlfriend gets mad at me because I like run a stop sign, I said, okay, look, that stop sign is just a suggestion, and it's a warning for legal liability. If I get in an accident, I'm legally liable for anybody I hit when I blew through the stop sign, or if a cop sees me run this stop sign. But this sign does not control my life. If there's no cop there and there's no car there, I'm gunning it.
Well,
I'm sorry.
If a cop pulls you over for that, to me, that's over-criminalization, right? Like,
yeah.
Now, if middle of the daytime, you pull out and a car has to slow down to stop, slow down,
a total dick move.
Pull that person over, give them a ticket.
Yes.
But if it's 2 a.m. and the light is red and I can see for half a mile in either direction, and I'm just sitting there,
yeah, that should be a personal judgment thing.
And you pull me over, like I'm not gonna argue with you as a police officer. Just know that I think you're a shitty cop. I think you're a bad person if you pull me over that way.
On that note, I've had cops watch me blow blinking reds downtown and not pull me over. I'm assuming they had more important stuff to do. But that being said, on this topic directly in our small town, I have decent cops sometimes.
Yeah, like I said, we actually have good cops here. I think they don't suffer from the system as much.
Yeah.
And again, the cops themselves are a little better as well, I think. But
well, the thing on this conversation where they always have that is like, I don't hear a lot. Like, no one involves, like, our Native leaders in that conversation for our local one. Like, why are Native American leaders? Because they're our highest population minority in this area. So if they're going to have any racial... I don't know. And I brought that up to, like, I put that on web forums, the same thing, like, in the local community, and I don't hear anything from these leaders. And so... I would love to hear it. I would love to hear.
This is me. I don't know if this is true or not. I would say a large part of that maybe has to do with they have their own agency. Like they have their own, land they can go to with their own rules, and so they have their own agency already, right? Like
well, kind of, but then you go on on the west end, like on the west end of town, wasn't like Little Shell or whatever. Those guys were. Sorry if you are a member of that tribe, I got it wrong, but they were like literally on the west end of town and said you're not your own tribe and didn't get anything for it.
They're just now recognizing them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like,
but I have to imagine that like. When you have a place, you can go if whatever percent of native you have to be. If you make that qualification, you're allowed to live on this place and go to this place and have your own rules and have your own representation and your own police.
Kind of.
To some extent, right?
Until the feds say that our roles are more important.
That's everywhere, though, right? Like
feds
have their.
But they don't have in their local. You go to the BIA, which is the federal department, right? So then when you get in trouble by the BIA, you're going to a federal prison. You're not going to a state prison.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So if you go to state... For people that don't understand, when you go to a federal prison, you're doing like 80-some% of your time. If you go to a state prison, you're eligible for parole at a third of your time. Yeah. So That's a huge difference between when you can be free and when you can't. The Truth in Sentencing Act is what that was. And they got rid of good time.
Federal prisons, are there any privatized federal prisons?
Oh, man, I don't know.
I think most of them are state prisons, right? Like, if there's one thing good about it, I guess it's that, right? But
yeah, Crossroads is the only one that we have, I thought, was a private one. And that's the Shelby prison.
Isn't that crazy that we have like private prisons in general?
Yeah, because it's literally a slave trade.
Isn't that unconstitutional? You think? Like, and then firefighters. Like firefighting is like a hard job. It pays really well. You know, we have a mutual friend. I don't want his name, but as a firefighter, right? Yeah. And like, you know, you see his post, and you're like, man, I feel for this guy. Yeah. You know, over there fighting fires, and then like they have convicts doing that
for
like
$1.
44 cents an hour or whatever, like for commissary ramen. Like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah, why don't you just give them the money and let them send it home?
That is so unconstitutional to me. Like, that's borderline. It's like they should at least get minimum wage. Like, I don't even like. Yeah, that's so crazy to me that we allow prisons to like have slave workers.
It does blow my mind.
You smoke some weed, you're now a slave firefighter. How's that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, in some states you can't ever vote, and we won't let you own a gun.
I guess the
it's hard to get a job too.
The argument is like, oh, they're not slaves; they're choosing to fight those fires. Well, yeah, because like they're in jail, they're in prison.
Yeah. Okay, it's one hell of a choice. Do you want to be where they're gonna
slit your throat?
Yeah, right. The first part of the conversation.
Or do you want to be out?
I'm real pretty. I'm fighting a fire.
Like for 4 cents. Like that's crazy to me. Like
fuck all that. Man. Yeah, well, I mean, and God bless that they get out of there for the prisoners' sake. Like, I'm glad you're able to like give something back to like the community, and you're able to like do something outside of the prison. Alternatively, like I think you should probably catch a little bit of money.
Hello, Willow. Hello, Phil. I will see you soon, Phil. And hello, Brian. And we're gonna do a podcast with Brian one of these days. I'm still figuring that out. But all good. These are delicious, by the way. This guy right here, you can tell he has some serving experience because
these are dare I say perfect.
Wow, they're nice. Even when he mixed them up and like the ice is melting and like nothing. At no point has this been a bad drink. So for those out there watching, enjoy one for us. But
we got a liquor we put some nice liquor that's not sponsored. So.
Yeah, not sponsored. It's good stuff though.
If they wanted to sponsor
you can tell it's good stuff, right? I've always been like a reasonable, like not alcoholic. I'm not alcoholic, but like. If I drink, I don't drink like the real good stuff. Yeah. I go middle shelf, right? Like
I gotcha.
Right?
I don't like taking shots because I got my jaw broke when I was taking shots one time. A guy sucker punched me, and I have like a metal plate here, and like it broke there, and so you can kind of see the little scar there.
I see.
Yeah, they're not actually Superman guys.
Superman his jaw. Yeah, it was Doomsday that did that to him. So.
Yeah, right. And he knocked me right through the wall.
Regenerative powers weren't enough, right?
Yeah, it took a little bit of time and some metal. More cyborg, I guess.
I'm actually kind of glad. Like 2020 has been a savior year for me for two reasons: sports and comic book knowledge. I used to be the biggest fucking geek. Yep. Like, I used to know the first name of almost every Marvel superhero, right? And during one of my quizzes for my business class in college, I had to do a speech. And I would stop randomly in the audience. And my thing was I would point to someone, or I would take, people raise their hand. I'd point to you. You'd give me the name of a superhero. And if I couldn't tell you their first name, I'd give you candy. I only gave out like 2 pieces of candy, the whole speech, right? And so like, it's crazy. So 2020 has like made me forget that. Because I don't watch movies. I'm not going out. I'm not doing anything crazy.
I stopped watching movies and stuff, all that. You know what I do love right now is that like COVID messed up so much stuff about sports. The beginning of our year kind of sucked for it, but this time of the year was my least favorite time. Like I hate baseball, watching it on TV.
Baseball.
Yeah, like it's one thing if you're gonna sit there in the stands and you watch it, and it's like, hey, no, between this and like shooting T-shirts at you and stuff.
Yeah, right. Like, you get beer, you're drinking beer.
Yeah,
and
shit.
It's
super fun. It's super nice, but it doesn't translate to TV well unless you're gonna sit there and focus and you're like really dorky. Like, do you see that guy's third pitch there? That's setting him up for the strikeout. Or the guy swung on this one. Like, there's a lot of intricacy to it, but if you're not gonna do that, it's boring. And like, who wants to do that for baseball? Like,
baseball's fun to play. Yeah. Baseball is a great sport to play. And hitting baseball is one of the hard sports. Being a batter is one of the hardest things you can do in any sport. But I don't want to watch it. I'm sorry,
launching a cannon shot down the thing.
Yeah,
from
throwing over
outfield and
throwing over 75 miles an hour is hard. Yeah. Try it. Go try to throw a baseball and have someone clock you. Yeah. I bet you won't make 70 miles an hour. No. I bet you won't make 80 miles an hour. No. These guys are throwing a 98. Yeah. 102?
Yeah. You'd be lucky to get 80.
You're lucky to get 80, right?
Yeah. Like, you're like 53.
It is not easy, bro.
Yeah.
And same with like hitting a ball. If you hit 3 out of every 10 balls thrown to you, you are a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, well, and you're thinking,
3% or 30%, 3,300 they call it, right?
Yeah, right.
You're a Hall of Famer. That's pretty much Hall of Fame numbers. Like, that's 3 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
but
crazy.
you're also remember you're going against like the best pitcher at his high school and his college is now on his team pitching, and that's the second stringer. You understand? Like everyone's the big dog, and so that's what pro sports is in general. Everyone's the big dog, and you're like that's just a whole nother pool. But
my fantasy league starts up here soon. Mm-hmm. Drafts on Sunday, and like I haven't done any research.
Dude, well, who do you draft? Like you know, in the draft, do you have like a COVID like pool that you can pull from? Do they have extra reserves due to COVID? Do we get an extra COVID?
I don't know how it works. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Like, yeah, your quarterback gets COVID. And you're out 2 weeks now, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Right?
What are you gonna do? Or they you do that? They get COVID and then they do the COVID IR for the rest of the season. You know what I mean? Yeah.
COVID can actually physically like permanently damage you.
I'm pretty sure I had COVID in July.
Yeah, let's say you're like I don't know, whoever, some star, and your lungs get permanently damaged. Like that can happen. And now your draft pick is like, my God, I don't know, man. We'll see. Like,
well, yeah, because when you're talking at a high level like that, we're talking percentage of a percentage.
Yeah, minute advantages,
and that's from starter to second or to not even being on the team.
Sweat on your hand can matter, right? The glove you wear, and
yeah,
you're talking about like, yeah, these guys are that competitive and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But like I said, I have like no knowledge of sports, which to me is a good thing now. Mm-hmm. Because I used to know like the backups and stuff.
Yeah, and everybody's story. I was like that way for so long, especially for football. You fall asleep with Sports Center on and NBA Live. I mean NFL Live, and you're like, you wake up in the morning and you just automatically know that they're going to run a cover 3 here. And
yeah, you know the formations and stuff. And so yeah,
and for each team, you know which guy's strong safety is going to get the pick. That that if they shut this guy down, if they do this team's going to win. But for every matchup that's on Sunday.
There's a guy, a national caster, Brian knows his name, mm-hmm. and he has this game he plays on his show sometimes where you tell him 3 NFL players, and he'll tell you what college they went to.
That's crazy.
Like that, like that's the kind of knowledge.
That's like scouting.
I didn't have that. I didn't know any of that. But it was getting to the point where it was like concerning how much knowledge I had. I'm like, yeah, obscure names and stuff.
Like if your mind is a warehouse, like how much is just football and basketball stuff that's just like set up in the thing. That's like me on video games, and I'm like that way too. You talking about your the Marvel stuff and how you were a dorky on that. Like I'm a super dork. I can talk about anything dorky except for Doctor Who.
Yeah, Doctor Who I don't have any knowledge on.
Nope. They say
I like it. It's cool. But.
Yeah. Well, okay. They say once you get past like the first season or something like that, you have to get into it and it gets better. And at that point,
I've
never got that far. I don't have that much time. But I can talk to you about Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel,
Stargate, any anime, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. Those are obscure ones too. There's the new. The new popular ones, Black Clover, My Hero.
Although I did start watching My Hero.
Goblin Slayer, you name it, right?
My kid and all the youngins around that age. My son's 12, so right around that age, they're all about My Hero stuff. So I was like, fine, I'll watch it because it's on Hulu dubbed. I'm too lazy to read subtitles most of the time. Sorry.
No, that's I think most people agree. That's probably the biggest reason people don't watch anime in the first place. Yeah, is the subtitles. Sometimes I don't mind though.
I do like the thing I like about the Japanese ones. Sometimes is like you. Like an American voice just can't be that exciting.
They're not the same, and like the grunts and it's like not the same emotion. It doesn't,
exactly.
Doesn't
it's like when you had the Japanese announcers for MMA, like on Pride. I'd always just turn on the Japanese ones because they were so excited. I was like, what the?
Spanish. Watch soccer. Yeah, go! He just holds it for like 20 minutes. Like,
or the repeated goal.
Yeah.
Like, go,
go! And they're so loud. Like, oh my god, I love it.
I love it. Yes.
Passion.
One time I was doing MMA sparring, and it was up at the old Big R building. That's where they had the fun zone up there, and that's when it was Electric City MMA or whatever the hell it was. And we had a ring going on. On the other side, they had a powwow, an inside powwow, and we were sparring to them, like doing the powwow stuff. I suggest everyone who ever does martial arts has live music while you're fighting, because you would literally, as they would do the faster the drum beats and stuff, you start sparring.
You go to the beat. You'll sync to the beat, right?
Yeah.
In the army, they did that. Like, actually slowed me down because I was like the fastest runner in my group, and they put music up for bad runners.
Yeah.
Well, no, we had to do like our final test in basic training for the mile. We had to run a mile, and they put a beat up, and I run faster than the beat, and so it was like hard for me to run.
To slow it down.
Yeah, I had to slow down. It was weird, and I ended up missing my mark by what I wanted to, but like it helped everyone else out, so I'm okay. Like,
but it makes a lot of sense too, especially from that thing, because you don't want your formation strung out. Everyone's got to be about the same speed, so your force can hit at the same time. You can't have straggling force hit an objective, it has to be like a hammer.
Well, it was for the bad runners.
Yeah,
just for help to pass, and I'm okay. Like, cool.
Yeah.
But I actually called cadence in the army too. I loved it. Cadence. Yeah. You know, when we do some cadence marching, get you out in the street and we'll do it. You know.
Yeah, he'll yell at you and stuff, and you're going slow. It'll be real.
Yeah, well, you know, smoke you. Get out in full uniform. It was in Georgia in July, airborne school. That was fun.
Oh yeah, jumping out of perfectly good airplanes.
Yeah, it was fun. Helicopters too. I jumped out of helicopters as well.
You know, my cousin was a ranger, and he did that for a long time until his parachute didn't deploy properly, and then the reserve got cut up in it, and he hit the ground. He survived it, but it blew his knee out, blew his back out, knocked him out for like an hour and a half. Broke his heart though because he had to stop being special forces. So, but that was the whole thing. Sucks. Yeah, just for his sake. Sorry.
We have a lot of jumps. It's safer than you think. Jumping out of an airplane is actually safer than driving a car. You're more likely to die in a car. Like, obviously, because the numbers are skewed in favor of cars, because more people drive cars. But
yeah,
I jumped a lot. We did a lot of jumps. No one I know has ever died jumping out of a plane. Yeah. The mortality rate of airborne is like very low. I think a couple people have died in the past.
Yeah, but usually they'll get in a second accident. Like this chute didn't deploy, and then the other one got caught.
And they investigate the shit out of it, right? They figure out why it happened.
Yeah. The
checks are rigorous. You know, the rigor checks are pretty rigorous, but
way better than when you go leave with your car. How's your brake? How's your brake
fluid? No one checks that stuff, right? Your brake, your power steering fluid.
How's that going?
You know, turn tire tread. You get out there and check it every time.
Yeah, what's your tire pressure at?
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So,
but especially in Montana, you get too low. Winter's gonna suck.
Winter is it gonna be bad this year? Is it gonna be brutal? You think?
I don't know. It's 2020. Who fucking knows?
We're gonna get like a fucking typhoon or some tornadoes and shit.
It's gonna be like super hot. They don't have a fire season in January.
Yeah.
It's just like okay.
It just doesn't snow. Snow just stops. We just
it's like some
more snow.
Sprinkles.
Right. It's like it does like a complete flip. Like it starts to snow in like tropical environments, and we just get like tropical
Yeah, just like I just pray for all these doomsday scenarios that Yellowstone hits. Then we don't have to worry about anything. Yellowstone or a nuclear apocalypse. We don't have to worry about anything out of those.
I think there's actually going to be some. So I want to get over this. We were talking about this sort of earlier. I think there's going to be an actual sort of doomsday situation here, right?
China's going to do it.
No, this payroll tax cut.
Yeah?
Have you heard of that? Trump's payroll tax. Mm-hmm. So the way it works is he's going to cut the payroll tax, right? You don't pay payroll tax till the end of the year. Cool, right? You got to pay it back though.
Yeah.
So it's like 6%, whatever it is. And so what's going to happen is next year, at January, you're going to pay twice as much in payroll tax, 12%, whatever. So your paycheck's going to diminish.
So that way, when you go to pay your taxes for like the beginning of the year, your end of the year taxes,
you're going to pay more probably.
Well, no, that's why they're doing you're paying more in that first quarter next year to make up for what you're paying less now.
Yes.
So that way, when you get your tax bill, you get a return and you're not paying them.
It's going to be
unless you got unemployment. Don't forget, you got to pay 10% back to the feds, and then the state gets their money too.
So combine that with there's also the ordinance, the national ordinance of no evictions, right? I know our local government, our
state,
our governor issued that, but so January 1st comes. Not only are you now evictable, you're not going to be your paycheck alone is going to be twice the payroll tax on it.
Jeez.
People are going to be fucked. Right, like people are going to have.
We're already on edge.
So
COVID and the lockdown has made everyone just so goddamn crazy. That's why I kind of stopped my web premise a little bit, just because people want to scream in an echo chamber, and if you offer any voice of dissent, you're the enemy now. You're just a piece of crap. And
I keep doing it. I do it, man. You got to do it. Like someone's got to do it. Someone's got to open people's eyes. If you get blocked and deleted, that's different, right? But some of your local officials can't block and delete you. So when you go on there, you can post to the. I do all the time. We have one of our local commissioners. Whenever he says something I don't disagree with, I get on there and I let him know. Same with the governor. Same with any official.
I just have a hard time because I'm having friends, like people that. And you're seeing it all over. Like, they're on the internet fighting over the budget in L.A. County, over the police department. And we all live in Great Falls. And now we're getting to the point where we're blocking each other. We're calling each other's names that we'd never say to each other's faces. For people that hey, do you remember when your car broke down and I gave you a ride in the middle of the snow so we could make sure that you were okay and I gave you a jump and all that stuff? That's a person you're calling a piece of shit and you don't like anymore.
Yeah, literally, what if you see them in the store and you hold the door for them, you're gonna see them again, right? Yeah. You live with them, right? So why are you doing this? This rodeo circus, it's crazy.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of had I deleted the Facebook app off my phone. I've been limiting my screen time on it. Everything.
I've been thinking about doing that.
Yeah, just because it's so addictive. It's so addictive. And after seeing, if there's any parents watching this right now, delete your kid's Instagram account, delete their TikTok, install an app on their phone so you can see who they're texting, what they're doing, and when they're doing it. We are in a very unsafe environment. Predators know that our kids have been online for the last 9 months due to COVID. They've been locked down.
It's new territory.
They know your kids are isolated. They're looking for companionship. So these predators are on here, dude. And they will use other children to recruit your children for whatever they want. Like, this is a very sick and sadistic, like, ring that's going on here. This has nothing to do with Epstein or whatever. This is just people taking advantage of this stuff. So we have a very serious danger, and it's happening in our community here, because I know 3 families that this has happened to. Something very similar where they've got involved in a sex trafficking ring or they got involved, didn't get kidnapped, but it's
getting close, right?
It was real close. The kid was messaging what he thought was another kid, was like sending news back and forth, and they were saying, hey, you should run away and come with us and we can be whatever. It was a sex trafficking ring out of Denver. This is what happened. And then another friend I know, an 8-year-old, was on Instagram, was recruited by an 11-year-old that was in a kiddie porn ring, and was recruited to send pictures through her handler, basically. And this is happening, so this is in our community.
This is like local, right?
Yeah, this is in our community. So this is
for you parents out there.
It's a scary time.
Remember, guys, like, I'm a libertarian. I believe in like human rights and like freedoms to the max. No. Your kid is not a full adult. They do not have freedoms. Like,
they're stupid. They're
dumb. Brains are literally made to be flawed. They're growing. They're still growing. They're not developed. If kids don't lie to you, your kid's doing something wrong. Or if they do something that should lie to you about, and they don't lie to you, and they don't lie to you about it, that's normal. That's normal, right?
Yeah.
And so
they're not masterminds.
Yeah,
I think they are sometimes.
Don't think your kid. Don't treat your kid like an adult. Take their phone. You
don't have a right to privacy.
You don't have a right to privacy. Put limits on what they can do. Like, don't feel bad about doing that kind of stuff. Like, you're not depriving them of anything. Like, this is a new world. The internet is new. Like, this is a fairly new invention in the history of man. Like,
we had it, but even as kids, like, I'm 34, you're 30. Like, we were still like kind of. Internet wasn't a thing until we were adults.
It really wasn't a big thing. Like, it existed, but like math people didn't have it. Like, it wasn't a big thing. Government didn't use it very much. It wasn't like a big thing. Now the government knows everything you do.
Yeah, you agreed to it, by the way, when you click that little acknowledge
when
terms of services.
When you make an account on Facebook, you agree to it. Like, you already agree to it. Like, your privacy is gone, right? Yeah. And so like, we never had this. Like, now the government uses it in every way. Like, you can do everything online. Like, it's a new world, guys.
They force you to. The government forces you to. They tell you, like, oh, no cash, you got to use your card.
Yep.
But
no coins, right?
Walmart shuts down all these local things, and then if you don't want to go to Walmart, you have to order it from Amazon.
Amazon's taking over, bro.
Amazon's taking over the world.
They're going to.
But, Fight Club calling it right. Like, when space exploration narrows down, it's going to be the corporations. We have Tesla Mars already.
I don't have a huge problem with that, though, right? Like,
me neither.
I'd rather have them do it than the government.
What's about aside from...
Because the government's like, all right, are you black? You can't own a spaceship. Like, you know what I mean? Or are you a blue person? Like, you cannot own property here.
That's a plus. Like, 12. Once you go out into space, there ain't no loss. No.
They'll make it. They'll make laws. Right? The government will do it. Like,
there is an international treaty that you can't have. No sovereign nation can control any interstellar body.
Yeah, they'll get by that by being
what they will say, though,
sovereign nation. I'm not a sovereign nation anymore. I'm now a space nation.
Yeah, it's like their corporation.
They'll find a loophole, right?
Yeah, or like the military base is running this base on the moon, and whatever runs is on their laws, because once you enter their thing, it's like whoever has the guns is going to make the rules. Which is another, like, you have to have special space guns. Did you know that?
Because of compression, and it would be a different. It would just like shoot
because you can't in a vacuum you can't disperse heat. Think about how hot that barrel gets. You could fire like one clip in your barrel,
and it would just be like hot. It would stay hot.
You'd have to have a liquid cooled thing, or you'd have to have a heat sink or something like that, because heat is your biggest enemy in space. It's counterproductive, but this vacuum you can't dissipate. Yeah, so you'd have to have a liquid cooling or.
This is the most American thing ever. We're thinking about guns in space, like
space guns.
We could be thinking about like how to colonize, like things that are legitimate, like how to survive the radiation, how to survive the cold and pressure. No, we're talking about guns,
space guns.
So this is the American.
I think maybe
version of the conversation.
Pneumatically, probably your best bet.
It'd be or like hydro or something.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't want to waste water, right? You couldn't waste water, right?
Well, in the process of creating power, you mix oxygen, or was it? You mix oxygen and hydrogen together.
You wouldn't want to waste oxygen either, would you, though?
Yeah, and water is a byproduct.
Yeah, those would both be very valuable elements in space.
You'd think so,
because they're not aptly abundant.
Not on you know what it is?
In some place they are, but
you know what is abundant in space, and on the moon in particular, is helium-3, which enables cold fusion. So, and that's like the reason why they never talk about helium-3 is because helium-3 doesn't exist on Earth in significant quantities for you to do any experiments on it. But those dark parts where the meteors have hit the moon and the sunlight has collected in the dark part, that's almost pure helium-3. So they're going to mine the shit out of that with drones, and they're going to have space bases, and then you're going to have space fights with
space heliums,
space helium-3 drone fights with space guns.
Absorb it and like do like, hello guys,
just like you do that, but like you're high pitched, but like super powered. You can like fly.
Because like you can like jump. Yeah, because the gravity's less, right? Could you imagine MMA on Mars, like or MMA on the moon, like
in a
lit, dude.
In a biodome. If you lived in a large enough biodome on the moon, you could strap wings to yourself and fly. If there
was a environment,
yeah,
to touch,
because the weight is low enough now that you can gain flight. Because the reason why humans can't fly, even if you strap wings to yourself, is that your bones are too heavy. That's why birds have hollow bones. There you go, a physiological lesson there.
See, in 1820, he'd be a bird scientist.
Fuck it, dude. Me and goddamn Leonardo da Vinci be on the same page. He just draws better pictures.
And he just gets probably high more often. He probably was high all the time.
Okay,
or syphilis or something.
Okay, like, in reality though, because man before like industrialization of medicine, had a whole like herbalistic knowledge that we lost. It was purposefully destroyed by like Bayern and all those guys. Those big medical, they destroyed all that. So that guy, he probably was high on mushrooms. He was high as fucking mushrooms.
Right. Microdosing every day.
Yeah, dude, can you imagine? Like, how else do you think of that stuff in the time? I'm going to make a tank in freaking 1700. Yeah, dude, you ate a bunch of mushrooms and you talked to the spore god and it told you how to make a tank.
Burning bush, right?
Yeah.
He parted the sea. He thought it happened, right? Like,
yeah, dude, he's like doing fucking Moses acid.
He's out there just like this. People are watching. What the fuck's he doing? In his mind, he's like, whoa.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't want to rag on Moses too much. He probably was a good guy. I don't know.
He was good. They got his people free and stuff.
Was a nice person.
Like in 2020, Moses is probably like the most like PC hero from the Bible you can.
Yeah, that Disney was a Disney movie, right?
Yeah,
it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good story altogether. Like I learned I'm not very religious anymore, but I spent plenty of time when I was younger. I was Mormon.
Yeah, I'm very well versed in religion. That's crazy because like I'm not religious at all. The more I know so much about religion though. Like the more religious I feel like you usually are, the less you tend to know. The people who are not religious in my timeline know the most. They seem to know the most. Do you know who Matt Dillahunty is? Matt Dillahunty. He was like a super pastor. He was like he's a literal genius.
Yeah.
And he was like the next like pastor. Like he was going to be like the next. And he became an atheist. Now he's like a genius, and he argues for. And he has like the Bible memorized. So if you ever argue to him, he's like, "Do you mean this?" And he has like just.
Scream Master C. That's our producer's name.
Hey babe, what time are we at? Real fast.
We're probably an hour now.
An hour 12. Yeah. We're not bad. We have a little bit longer. We have probably 10 more minutes here to kind of shoot you. We're gonna get last hop up here.
Last margarita. And
my phone has died, so I can't see people watching. If you are watching, unfortunately, I just apologize, guys.
We were giving you all the hearts and loves.
I would have given you shout outs, but I can't see it. Phone's dead, so that's my fault. I'm really bad with my phone. I don't keep it on me a lot.
Well, if we had some technical difficulty, not to like destroy the illusion, so. Maybe that's why your phone was.
Yeah. By the way, this camera you guys are seeing, I have a new camera come in, and it's like better. And I had it working, and then it just stopped working. Soon as Drew got here, it just stopped working. So I don't know if he's magic or if the spot it's in is. I don't know. It just quit. So
trust me, ask my ex-wife, all my exes. If there's a way to fuck things up, it's probably my fault. Sorry, but it's true.
Are you single? Dating anyone?
Yeah, I've been dating this girl for about a year. She's been real sweet to me. Like, I mean, a lot of you guys know my ex, and who I just saved her life kind of the other day, too, by the way.
He's literally Superman, by the way.
Yeah, okay. We'll start with that story, then we'll go to my... Okay, so I'm outside, and I'm sitting in my house, and I live on 1st Avenue North, right there by the Loaf and Jug, and I'm in my Fortress of Solitude, and I hear a bunch of commotion downstairs. And it's Rachel and her boyfriend. And they're surrounded by like 20 people, like, kids like 15 to 20 something.
gang of people here, you know?
Yeah, right. I didn't think it was anything. I came downstairs at first thinking maybe I can de-escalate the situation, tell them to go away, go do their own thing. Like, there's no problem here. I'll get them out of here. Sorry for whatever the problem was, because I'm not the one they're mad at. Well, I get down there. There's already like 5 grown men surrounding them and like 20 people around them, and they're all angry. But I know what a mob looks like. Okay, so I go upstairs, run upstairs real quick, grab my Louisville Slugger, and come back downstairs. And I say, hey, get the fuck away from my house. Well, in that time that I came downstairs, one of the guys in the crowd had an airsoft rifle, an automatic pellet rifle, and it had copper BBs in it. He pointed it at Rachel, and her boyfriend got in between them, and then walked at the dude. Okay, this is where I don't want to talk bad on the guy's tactics here because it worked, but
that's pretty sketchy. That's
if
not
someone
good.
points an airsoft rifle at your face, it might seem cool to walk at him like you're the tough guy and eat it like the Terminator, but you should probably just...
That's how you die.
You should probably just rush him and beat him with the thing. Like, because he can only shoot you so many times between as you close the distance. And you know it's not a real rifle because it has a yellow tip or an orange tip, like... But whatever. So he walks towards him, and it sounds like a taser going off because it's an electric one. Every time it'd fire, it would reset the metal pin. So it's tick, 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 tick. And I'm looking for the snap from the taser because I'm going to hit that guy with the bat first before I run into the crowd. Like, that's the first person. That's a real threat.
That's the threat, right? Yeah. Neutralized threat, right?
Okay. So I come outside and I like beat on the ground so everyone get the fuck away. AJ's getting hit with the
airsoft gun.
Yeah. And so I'm like, Rachel, AJ, get in the fucking house now. And then I run in the street with the baseball bat to grab them, and they like disperse. And then I stand between Rachel and AJ, and the crowd getting shot at by that guy with the pellet rifle. And I'm still looking. I know it's a pellet rifle now because when I first thought it was a shooty taser, and I was like, because I could hear like pebbles, like, and I was like, it's a shooty taser. Oh shit! And then AJ didn't drop because if it was a shooty taser,
he'd probably had some reaction to it.
Yeah, and he didn't. He just like walked like the Terminator, then flinched at him, and they all like cowered. It was actually kind of funny. I mean, if that's how it's going to work out, like each your own. I mean, it makes you feel good. But yeah. So I got out there and I chased them. I got in the house, and I just remember they were shooting at me. I couldn't find that taser, and then it hit the glass window behind me because I live above floors and more. And oh no, please don't come get me now. I already got lynched. But anyways, they shot up that glass door, and I thought I gotta get inside.
You hear the glass break?
I could hear them shooting. I said if I don't get inside, they're gonna break the
glass
window.
Broke.
Yeah, so like Superman, I had to think about collateral damage. You can't be fighting people next to skyscrapers.
That's why he doesn't fight in the city.
That's why he doesn't fight in the city. You take him out in the wilderness and you beat the shit out of him. And so yeah. And now that okay, so we get inside, I give them the finger, we lock our secure lock building, and they take off, right? And then I go out cruising 10 minutes later, because I had to give my friend a ride somewhere.
Bob is back.
Dude, I found where they were at within 5 minutes. Then I found all of them. So if I were, like, criminal element, I would just go over to your house and shoot all of you kids.
Like, you understand, like, people here own guns, right? Like, the worst thing you can do if you're in a mob is bring an airsoft gun. Because it does two things, right? It's worthless. It doesn't help you. Like, if you're shooting me, I'm going to beat you up. Like,
I'm going to grab that and shove it up your ass if I pull the trigger.
What it also does is it shows that you have a weapon.
Yeah.
Weapons are all the same. Whether it's an airsoft gun or a real gun, it's category weapon, right? Like
that's a firearm charge,
right? That's what I'm saying. Like if I had a real gun, I would have shot you with that real gun. If you point a gun at me, airsoft gun, like that's ridiculous. Don't bring an airsoft gun. You either bring a real gun or nothing at all. That's it.
What the fuck were like 15 to 20-year-olds were walking around at midnight, 12:30? Like, what are they do? Like, how is that even a thing?
Nice.
Yeah, I know.
Look at this guy. Oh, look at this.
Yeah. I came here with a bartender and a box here. I even brought my own ice.
Look at these. They look delicious, and they are delicious, by the way.
Yeah. Dare I say perfect.
We're gonna wrap this up.
Okay, fine. I gotta tell that story.
Let's give some quick shout outs. I don't know if you have any. Shout out my friend Eugene. He has a clothing business. If you guys get a chance, I don't remember the name of it. I'm terrible shout out here, but I'll get that for you in another episode. Shout out Tim Welch. He reached out to me the other day about some podcast stuff.
Love Tim.
I know he does a podcast with Sugar, and it's a pretty good podcast actually. It's pretty good little MMA. Mm-hmm. I like MMA. I'm still in that world a little bit. You got any shout outs, local shout outs?
Please come see me at Cattleman's. Go out, call in, yeah. I'll sell you a good steak and stuff.
You get some good steak. It was moved. If you guys didn't know, it used to be by some prairie out there on Furnace Road. They have moved to Marketplace.
Yeah, it's over there where the old on the border Tony Road.
It's right by Chili's, right?
Yeah, right by Chili's.
Right by Chili's, right? In that little area there. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
if you want a good steak, it's gonna be the best one in town. The prime rib's gonna be the best prime rib.
I don't have a dog in the fight here. I'm more vegetarian. When I went to the Cattleman's Cut, when it was Oval Place, the food was delicious. It was great. It was a really good experience. A little pricier, but
yeah, well,
it was good.
I lucked out in when I came back to work after COVID. We were the only people that were open with that price point. Every place else, like you want to go to Applebee's or Chili's, so no, you want a good steak? I loved it when people came in and said, "This is the first steak I've had in 3 months."
Yeah, I love Applebee's. I don't go there because it's good. I go there because it's cheap. And it's like I will never order a steak there. I think I've ordered one.
Oh my god, dude! I used to eat steaks there, and then I worked at Cattleman's the first time.
Never again.
And then I just could never.
I literally went to Walmart and bought their cheap meat and cooked it up, and it was better. Like now that I know we have some bad experience at Applebee's, but like I like it for like if I'm gonna be day drunk on a Tuesday, and I can get a ride at Applebee's.
It's happy hour right now. It's $4 margaritas, half price wings. I don't care. It's going to give me diarrhea later.
It doesn't matter. And the consequences, I don't care. Like I'm day drunk. Like
what was that? Like on Family Guy, and they were talking about it's like the Indian Applebee's, like when they're in India for Brian's wife, and he's like, "Does it make you sick every time? Not every time. Then it's not Applebee's."
Our Applebee's is not that bad. They're and I know a lot of people that work there still. So like. Good for you for being there.
Yeah. I mean, you're tough.
Troopers, you know.
I mean, you're a glutton for punishment. And Applebee's has no safe word. Just to let you know.
Any other shout-outs? Any other basic...
Got him his phone short. You know.
I can't think of anything else. Local. Shop local, please.
Yeah,
if you get a chance.
Anything you can get local, do it.
It's more important nowadays, especially because...
If you got to spend $3 more to get an item from someone you know, then spend the $3 to keep it inside this.
Because it's not going to the pockets of one of the Walton family, or the pockets of Jeff Bezos, who doesn't need it, or his wife now, who's the richest woman in the world, by the way.
I can't wait till he sets up his own space thing. I wonder what he's going to spend. Like Mars is already taken over. We understand that that's Tesla's, right? This is Tesla's.
That's his ground, right?
Yeah. Like where is he just going to take the asteroid belt? Is that how they're going to split this up? And he's going to ship the asteroids to Mars.
Each billionaire gets a gas giant. You know, is that how it works? Like,
yeah, I'm like, because he's doing shipping, right? So he'd ship the asteroids to Mars to be processed by Tesla and then shipped back to Earth.
You can put a lot of processing centers on the belts, like on the little asteroids, right?
Yeah. Did you ever watch The Expanse?
Scanning, you know? The Expanse, no. What is The Expanse?
The Expanse is on Amazon, and that is it's a sci-fi show on Amazon. It's about people being out in the belt and on Mars, post-colonization, a near future. And it's the most accurate one you'll ever see.
It's as close as it gets, right?
Yeah, because if you live in a low G environment over generations, you have a bunch of genetic deformities just because you don't have gravity.
Well, pressure's different. Your oxygen intake's different. Radiation is
different. So they're all really tall with long necks and long limbs, and they can't survive. They really can't survive in Earth's gravity.
Isn't that what the 100 does that as well?
Yeah, something.
Because they're born outside in the radiation space, so they're super They're radioactive. They can take radiation. So when they come on Earth, the humans that have nuclear fallout can't go outside.
Yeah,
because they'll burn their skin because there's too much radiation. But the humans that were in space can because they're used to the radiation. They've developed radiation tolerance, right?
Yeah, there's really no telling what high levels of radiation will do over generations.
Well, there is telling. It will mutate us.
Yeah, but
whether bad or good, right?
Yeah, well,
we don't know. Probably bad though.
Well, okay, yes and no.
Because we're lucky to be where we are.
Okay, so it will make mutations happen. The successful mutations will continue to happen. The unsuccessful ones, you just got to hope the level.
I disagree because as humans, we care about what do we? How do we reproduce? People that are not we don't reproduce based on the best genes. We reproduce people who have the most money, right? Yeah, it's weird. People beat their wife and they stay together forever. It's not about DNA is how we reproduce. So successful mutations will just exist, but they will just maybe get passed on, possibly
I don't know.
Some guy with frog hands who can go on the wall clearly has an advantage. Do you think he's going to reproduce?
I've seen so many ugly people have babies. I don't think that's a plausible thing. Ugly people have sex too. You think that an ugly girl doesn't get laid? She gets laid by some of the hottest guys. Who do you think their texts are in the morning?
Hottest guys, right?
Well,
the guy that, like I said, with the tentacle hands, who clearly is superior, he'll beat you in a fight because he'll choke you out from across the room, right?
Yeah.
Or he can climb the wall, or he can go underwater. This guy is a tactical nightmare. But there's no one's laying seed on him, dude. He's not putting seed to anybody.
I don't know.
You know?
We're also talking a post-apocalyptic future, so there might.
Maybe it's normal. Like
there might not be a lot of choice. For
like backward legs, you can jump like 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Like reverse frog legs.
Well, I mean, but you're also talking like these negative mutations are going to kill off a certain like a large population of that portion of the population. There you go. That's what I'm trying to say. Are just going to die. You're just gonna die.
Like sickle cell for black people, right? Like,
yeah,
you're gonna
or
get
heart disease.
Yeah, you're gonna get like some kind of mutation that affects like Asian people only because of some DNA,
Yeah,
and then they're just gonna like die, or like I'm not specifically, but like
that's just an example.
A group of people will be adversely affected by some kind of negative mutation, probably. So
I bet you'll find something like that. There again, that's the only thing that you can find through study. But who's going to study it? You're going to have one tentacle arm like scientist walking around like a cyclops is like doing the other math on it. I just can't get the depth of this figured out.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. Shout out Independent Thought. That's another podcast I listen to. My buddy Desmond runs that. Please watch it. Also, catch me on Sunday. We're doing the regulars on Sunday. We got one of the regulars back in the booth here with us. Any last minute shout outs?
Oh man, jeez,
this is on the spot, by the way. Shout out Batman because that's his buddy.
I mean,
shout out Green Lantern.
The Bruce Wayne Industries, Star Labs. If you don't mind, if you guys don't get that, then go to the WB. You'll get it. CW, sorry. CW, sorry. WB was when we were kids.
Yeah.
Remember WDIX when it was like from New York and it always had the frog on it?
Wasn't that like when the 90s?
Yeah. 90s. And then if you had the Chicago station, it always had the Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 51612. And that hasn't played in 20 some years. Yeah, I still remember that number. That's if you need to stop and report a crime, kids. Be a snitch. That's what they told you on TV every day.
Well, guys, don't take life too seriously. Cheers. Enjoy margaritas,
Yes, the finer things in life.
And, we'll catch you guys in the next episode. See something. It's just going to be rad.